Hello. Today we're going to talk about how to allocate overhead costs among products using a predetermined overhead rate. Predetermined overhead rates are very common. It allows a company to estimate how much overhead is going to be applied to each product at the beginning of the year rather than waiting for actual costs at the end of the year. If we waited for actual costs at the end of the year, the company wouldn't be able to bill the overhead costs or build it into the cost or the selling price of the product. Okay, so we need to have a predetermined overhead rate so that we can apply it all during the year. Okay, this exercise has 3 different products. They've given you the number of units for each product. They've given you the total overhead costs of $360,000. And then they ask you to determine the predetermined overhead rate based on 2 different cost drivers. Okay? The first one is direct labor hours. Okay? So to get the predetermined overhead rate, it is simply the total estimated overhead cost divided by the estimated direct labor hours. Okay, so the total direct labor hours for all of the products is 12,000. The total overhead cost estimated is 360,000. Divide that and we get $30 per direct labor hour. All of these overhead rates are going to be a rate per something. So whatever the cost driver is. Okay, so $30 per direct labor hour based on the direct labor hours as the cost driver. Okay, so step 2, we're going to apply the $30 per hour, and why this is off kilter a little bit, I don't know, times the number of units that we expect to make. And this shows that the total 360,000 is allocated among the 3 products based on the amount of direct labor hours. Okay, now part B says use machine hours as the cost driver. Okay, so machine hours are up here. Total machine hours, 4,000. Okay, estimated overhead cost is still 360,000. Okay, so to get the overhead rate based on machine hours, 360,000 divided by 4,000 gives us $90 per machine hour. And then we allocate that based on the number of machine hours used for each product. Okay, now the question is, which is the best cost driver? Okay, when would it be more appropriate to use direct labor hours versus machine hours? Okay, it would be more appropriate to use direct labor hours if direct labor hours is the majority of the cost involved in producing the product. So if we have a lot more cost for direct labor hours than we do for anything else, then that would be an appropriate cost driver. On the other hand, if the machine hours are the majority of the cost, so let's say it's a highly specialized machine, costs a lot to buy, costs a lot to run, right? But we have very few direct labor hours related to it, then machine hours would be an appropriate cost driver. I hope you find this helpful. Thank you.